Hey guys, this is Mike. This is my 2018 Honda Civic Type R. We're gonna let Brandon, the owner of this beautiful blue Elantra N, drive my car for the first time and give his first impressions about it. So without further ado, here we go.
Oh my God. Okay. This is so different.
Way different
than the Elantra. Holy cow. The seat hugs you in this thing. And I've driven this before. It's been a long time, but not since you've done all the modifications to it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, let's get it fired up. God, it sounds like a monster when you're starting this thing up. Like,
it gets quiet though.
But yeah, his exhaust, what was the exhaust you have on this again?
It's a Miltech race exhaust. It's from the UK, believe it or not. They make really good exhaust systems. So if you want a really good exhaust system,
I'm moving your seat. Sorry, but
go ahead.
God, you have this so low, and I'm already pretty sure you're shorter than I am.
I am.
How is this so low, Mike?
I don't know.
How do you see over the steering
wheel?
I just. Anything I should know? Like special about this, or just, I mean,
so the acuity stage shifter kit that I have in this car is fully adjustable in terms of height, in terms of throw, and in terms of just gate spacing and stuff like that. So I have it reduced at like at 60-70%. I mean, the shifts are super short.
Oh wow.
And it's super notchy. Like, you feel every gear. Whereas the stock Type R,
this could be gated. I mean, the way it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The stock Type R shifter, not impressed with it.
Okay.
Really jello-y. Sometimes I've heard people of getting locked out of second gear, getting locked out of third gear. A lot of people just upgrade the shifter kit, the bushings, and the cable. So we've done all that to this car, and it feels really good. We've also replaced the transmission oil with AMSOIL Synchro Mesh.
Okay.
It's just a better fluid.
Yeah, that seems to be very popular in the N community as well, as using AMSOIL. So
yeah, it's, from what I hear and from what everyone else tells me, it's a good fluid to change.
Cool.
All right. As far as that goes, just like your car, kind of has 3 different modes here. Okay. So we have comfort. So you're going to notice the steering, I'm sure in your car, is kind of the same. It's really loose.
Yep.
The acceleration is not really there. Takes a while for the turbo to spool up. The timing's different. What's cool about this car when it's tuned, Derek tuned it with the 3 different modes in mind. So the comfort level might have 300 horsepower.
Okay.
The sport mode, that's our next mode, that might have, 330 horsepower. Okay. And then the R mode is our max.
Okay. So are we going right into R mode then?
Right into R mode.
All right.
Right into N mode, we're going right into R mode. And I know a lot of people, people buy this car for the track. Like, that's...
I believe, yeah. And there's a handful of people out there for the Elantra as well that are just making videos of it on the track. So,
right.
And
I know a lot of people, they're going to see my car and they're going to be like, why'd you ruin your car? And I made this kind of a show car, and we'll go into further detail about that in some future videos about just some of the modifications I've done to kind of set my Type R apart from the rest of the Type Rs you see on the road.
Cool.
So without further ado, go ahead, Brandon.
Let's do it. I've yet to try the rev matching on a manual Elantra, and I still want to drive one of those. I've only driven my DCT, but perhaps we should get on it a little bit and do a little bit of comparison of what it is to the Elantra.
Yep. So the Type R really likes mid power. Okay. So anywhere after like 3,000 RPM is when you can really just launch it. Okay. Now, do be in mind, you are driving a stance car. It might go off a little left or a little right.
Right. Yeah.
And I would say hit it.
Okay. So that high RPMs, there's no doubt. Once you get over 3,000 in this thing, it starts pulling, and much better than the Elantra N and those higher RPMs. So I could definitely understand how this in a roll race, especially in a roll race, is gonna, be very heavy competition to anything in this class.
Yeah. And this thing will push. I've seen it peak at 29 pounds, hitting it to red line.
So, and that's with your tune, though, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
What would the tune be, or I should say, what was the PSI high on this from the factory?
Like 22, 23 pounds.
That's still, I mean,
It's
even
still a lot.
yeah, I mean that's about what a tuned Elantra N is running. Is usually the maybe mid to low 20s.
Okay.
So I mean factory, that's anywhere from 16 to 19, typically depending on the octane learning on that car. If you're running 93 gas, this thing is just smooth shifting. Like
I really like.
I
the
love
shifting.
the clutch on this thing. I mean, it is absolute butter.
Yeah, it is nice.
Now, is this still the factory clutch?
This is the factory clutch.
Wow.
The factory clutch will support somewhere around 500 to 600.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah. Now, in terms of drivability, suspension-wise, this is a pretty stiff ride. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say it is a stiff ride, but it's not undrivable even as a daily driver. But gosh, I mean, the gearbox on this is probably my favorite thing so far. I just absolutely love the way the gearbox feels on this, and the power band in the higher RPMs is just so much better than the Elantra. And
It just
in
takes
every
a while
aspect.
to get there.
Yeah, it does take a little bit to get there, and that's why I can understand. I know I've seen videos, and I'm sure you have as well,
Right.
of the Elantra versus the Type R and other vehicles as well. You know, off the line. I mean, one, this is a manual. Two, I know there's something with the lower end on these, isn't it right? Oh, where it's limited.
Yeah, you wanna. They keep the peak torque until you get into the higher gears. You can go straight.
Okay.
Yeah, go straight here. But that's what a lot of people with. I've seen plenty of blown motors because they get 400, 450 foot-pounds of torque. They do that in the early gears and they blow the motor.
Okay.
Usually with a piston through the block is what we're typically seeing. I know a lot of people they like to do the two-step. That's also really bad for these cars.
Okay, so you don't have any two-step tune? Or
No, and I will not. I want the Honda reliability, so
Okay.
I'm going to try and do everything I can to keep my hands out of the motor unless something absolutely needs fixed.
Okay, fair enough.
So just like you want to keep your warranty with your car. All right, so we just had a cop follow us for a little bit. It happens sometimes, especially in this car.
Yeah.
I do have an underglow kit, which you'll probably see in a future video. We'll talk about all the lighting that's done with this car. My good buddy Brandon Poltney, he owns Arclight Industries. He did all the lighting in this car. Did a really good job. And any problems I do have, he does assess them and corrects them, stuff like that. Just had a couple of hiccups, nothing crazy though. So, but yeah, you'll see that in a future video. Crazy headlight and taillight build. When I bought this car, I really wanted to just set it apart from every Type R out there. One of the biggest compliments I get on my car, weirdly enough, and I know you were complimenting me on it before, is the rear diffuser.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that thing is just, it sticks out there and it's just,
It stands out for sure. I mean, the whole
call it
car
the
stands
ankle
out.
I mean, you stand near the trunk and those fins are pointing right at you.
Yeah. I mean, that's an ankle breaker, and your car's, I'm sure breaking necks left and right. But overall, I mean, we didn't get on it a whole lot, but I mean, just the overall drivability of this car, it's great. I mean, I got to say, I'm in love with this gearbox. It's an absolute blast to drive.
Would you change it a little bit? Like, would you have like the gears a little bit more spaced or even tighter? Because you can get this thing tighter to where first gear is this, second gear is this. I mean, you can have it so tight.
I would say
That's what she said.
I would probably say I would prefer a little bit more of room
More
between
space.
the gears.
Yeah.
I like the gated feel, but at the same time, I feel like it's going to
It'll
affect
be
my.
easy to.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to mess up.
Well, if you're taking it to the track in any sense, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more difficult to quickly get from one gear to another.
Sure.
So, am I okay with the way it is? Yeah. Would I adjust it if it was possible? Probably.
Yeah.
So, but overall, it's still my favorite thing. And I guess I still have yet to say if the Elantra is capable of feeling like this. But if I knew it was like this, I probably would have been a little bit more likely to get a manual rather than the DCT. But
Okay.
I ended up going with the DCT on mine because I wanted more power.
Gotcha. Okay. You want to get on it in first gear to feel it.
Okay. God, I love the Really? Okay,
Yeah,
so
that is not the blow off.
no. Okay, so there's no blow off.
So that little chirp that you hear,
Yeah.
that's that secondary inlet
Oh,
on the intake.
okay.
And that inventory inlet, that intake was $1,500.
Jeez.
So that was my first purchase of the car. Just really wanted to let her breathe.
Okay.
I am gonna get that inlet, carbon inlet too, just to increase the diameter of airflow and stuff like that.
Well, we're gonna give her one last pull here, guys. We're gonna start from second, about 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, let's do it. God. It throws you back just like the Elantra. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you can tell. I mean, if this thing was stock like this, that would just be nuts. But you could tell that you got some stuff done to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is no doubt a very, very fast and very fun car. And
It is fun.
I would have not been disappointed in this by any means.
A lot of people are pushing 400 or 500 horsepower out of these motors. Upgraded turbo, upgraded fuel pump, injectors, and it's doable. I mean, people are doing it safely. The motor is handling it. The trans is handling it well. So, you know, I could see this as a 450 horsepower car and be happy with it. I mean, it's more than enough right now, but another 100 horsepower in this car,
I can't imagine that.
it'd be wild.
I can't see putting another 100 horsepower into this and it putting the power to the ground, especially with the way it stands right now. So I assume if you did that, you would probably go back to normal camber.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'd
Fair
go
enough.
back to a straight line, even though this car is not meant for, you know, straight lines. A lot of people buy this car, they autocross it.
Yeah.
And this thing will take corners. When I bought this car, I took a corner at 90. I didn't move in my seat.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you go around that bend and you're holding on.
That's impressive, and that's what it's built for. And that's
right.
You know, a similar thing with the Elantra N, but I mean, this is a different animal. This is definitely more of a top-end beast, in my opinion. Once you get past what you exactly said, 3,000 RPMs, it goes, and it's so different than the Elantra.
It is.
They're
both different cars.
Yeah.
I think they both have, you know, both good pros and cons to them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And it's going to be weird to see what you do with your car. And
yeah, I can't wait to see we do this in the future. I mean, you were able to drive my car, and I'm sure you'll put a link in the description below for my channel.
We'll absolutely do
so
that.
you guys can check that out. But
we'll absolutely do that.
I'm here helping Mike film a first video, and
Yep.
we're getting him off the ground, and he's gonna have a lot of content for you guys.
Absolutely.
So give him some love, subscribe to his channel. My final thoughts on the car, I mean, it is just as fun as the Elantra N, in my opinion. It has a ton of great features. The infotainment center in this.
We really didn't go over all that.
No, yeah,
it's kind of weird.
I was so focused on driving this thing. This thing really puts the focus on the driver as well. Just everything in here is it looks amazing. I mean, I know you've done a couple things to it as well that makes it look a little different, which Mike will show you.
Yeah.
I'm sure in a future video to show you the interior, the exterior. I was having so much fun just focusing on driving.
Yeah.
That I didn't really want to talk about much else, just except for shifting the car and just driving it around and getting those RPMs up.
Right.
But I love it. I'd have to say overall, it's a pretty fair comparison, 1-to-1. I
think that's why a lot of people compare these cars.
Yeah, I agree, and it's definitely going to be a preference. Do you like the Elantra N? Do you like the Type R? Do you like the Veloster N? Whatever it might be.
Right.
I think it's a great car.
Thank you. I loved your car as well. I mean, it just goes. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if you haven't driven one of these Elantra N's yet, you need to. All right, guys. Well, hey, subscribe to Brandon's channel. Subscribe to my channel. Leave some comments below.
Definitely.
For future content. You know, do you want to have us do another comparison video? You want to do a walk around of both of the cars again? You know, whatever you guys want. You know, put it down below, and we'll take care of it. You know, I'm sure Brandon and I are gonna be shooting more videos together.
Definitely.
Despite our distances,
we'll get together again.
Yeah, we talk on the weekly basis, and we'll put together some stuff here. But as far as that goes, everyone stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.
Peace.